Elon Musk just announced that on August 8th, he will unveil the Tesla self-driving robotaxi. Putting aside whether this will be delivered on Elon time
next year.
In this video, we discuss how a self-driving car will change society. Safety. Since 1900, cars have killed more people than all pandemics combined. A self-driving car won't be approved by regulators unless it is much safer than a human. I expect the death rate to plummet from 40,000 people a year in the US to less than 4,000. This sounds great, but expect the media to preach the end of the world because Elon Musk's self-driving deathmobile mowed down little Susie. Of course, the news outlets will completely ignore the thousands of accidents the cars prevent because that doesn't drive revenue. Essentially, you're turning a statistic into a tragedy, so I would expect every incident to garner as much attention as aviation accidents, even though flying by plane is safer than crossing the street. You probably won't own your own car. Cars sit idle in parking lots 95% of their life. A robotaxi isn't just going to drive you to work, it will function more like an Uber servicing multiple people. Current estimates suggest that one robotaxi can replace up to 4 cars. I still expect some people to keep their cars like plumbers, but the vast majority will opt to ditch the private automobile. Anytime you decrease the cost of something, people consume more of it. Expect traffic to increase dramatically because people no longer care about avoiding rush hour, and traffic that never existed before, like a car driving with 0 people in it, will worsen the problem. People think that traffic will magically go away because of self-driving cars do not understand induced demand. Most of our traffic is not due to poor drivers, but too many cars on the road. Land use will change. The US is such a car-centric shithole that entire YouTube channels have blown up lamenting our unlivable cities. There are currently about 8 parking spaces for every car in America, which sucks major ass, but a robotaxi only needs 1 parking space because it will just drop you off at the front of the store, then drive off. Expect sweeping regulation changes that will finally make it legal to build on top of our currently mandated parking lots. The cost of housing should also go down because you won't need to build expensive parking. I still think the US will be mostly a shithole for the next 50 years, but I do expect this technology to improve things a little bit. Also, homes won't have garages or driveways anymore. In 2100, when buying a house, you'll be able to tell that it was built pre-2030 because of its ugly garage and driveway dedicating 15% of the space to private automobiles. Increased mobility. This may seem odd to the European listener, but since the US is inaccessible without a motor vehicle, there are tens of millions that are unable to leave their house because they can't drive, including teens, elderly, tourists, and people with medical conditions. In Europe, you would just take a bus or walk down the sidewalk. But in the US, we sold our country to ExxonMobil and Ford Motor Company. Instead of fixing our actual society, we are solving the car problem by inventing a less shit car. Asthma rates at children's hospitals will decline. When you take gas-burning cars out of city centers, the air quality improves and children are able to breathe again. Regional transit is fucked. Why take a train or bus when you can hail a $7 cyber taxi point to point? Even a flight from Charlotte to Atlanta starts to make no sense when you consider the security checkpoints and the transit to and from the city center. Completely new businesses will emerge. Imagine you need a tool, like a shovel, for only 1 hour. You could call a Cybertruck that has a bunch of tools for rent in it. You borrow the tool, and when you're done, it comes back and you return it. When the cost per mile declines to ludicrous levels, completely new businesses will emerge. Remember back in 2008 when Apple launched the App Store? Literally entire industries and trillion-dollar companies were built on top of it. I expect a similar thing to happen here. Weird stuff will happen. In San Fran, protesters are already trolling the self-driving cars by placing cones on them, rendering them useless. Since the cars will be designed to never hit a human, you could easily disrupt an entire city by marching across the highway and blocking all the traffic. You can't do that today because someone in a Dodge Ram will be happy to plow into you. Expect new laws to emerge around obstructing traffic and Tesla to partner with law enforcement to hand over the video of the perpetrators. I personally am excited for this technology because I have to maintain a car that I only use twice a week. I'd rather just pay as I need and skip all the hassle of car ownership. So hurry up, Elon, and actually deliver it this time.
By the end of the year, fully autonomous.
But next year for sure.
Next year.
Next year.